Your iPhone knows where you live, it knows where you work, it knows which friends' houses you visit regularly, which gym you go to, which grocery store you prefer, and approximately what time you leave home each morning. And it has been quietly saving all of this information in a list called significant locations, building a detailed map of your daily movements without you ever being asked to consent to it explicitly. That is one setting on one iPhone. There are several others running alongside it, collecting your usage data, your health measurements, your app behavior, your diagnostic information, and sharing pieces of all of it with Apple. And in some cases, with third-party companies, including some of the largest advertising platforms in the world. None of this requires you to do anything. It is all happening by default, in the background, because the default configuration of your iPhone serves the data interests of the companies involved rather than your privacy interests. This video is going to change that. We're going through 5 specific settings right now, step by step. Each one turns off a specific data collection that is currently running on your device without your active awareness. The whole process takes under 10 minutes. Start with your iPhone unlocked and let us begin. Setting 1, app tracking. Transparency. Every app on your iPhone has the potential to track your activity across other apps, across websites, and across services that have nothing to do with the app you're using. When you open Instagram and then later browse a shopping website, the connection between those two behaviors can be tracked and used to build a profile of your interests and intentions. That profile informs the targeted advertising you see across every platform. Apple introduced a system called App Tracking Transparency that is supposed to give you control over this. When an app wants to track your activity, it is supposed to ask permission with a specific prompt. You have probably seen these prompts. The question is whether the broader setting that governs this is configured to protect you. Here is how to check and confirm it. Open Settings. Tap Privacy and Security. Tap Tracking. You will see a toggle at the top labeled Allow Apps to Request to Track. If this toggle is on, apps can ask you for tracking permission, and if you previously agreed to any of those requests, that tracking may be active. Below the toggle, you will see a list of apps that have requested tracking permission. For any app showing as allowed, you can tap it and switch it to Ask Next Time or to Off. But the setting that matters most is the main toggle. If you turn off Allow Apps to Request to Track entirely, apps are not permitted to request tracking permission at all. This prevents the prompts from appearing and prevents tracking at the system level for apps that respect this setting. This matters because cross-app tracking connects your behavior across completely different contexts. The email you read, the article you browse, the search you conduct, the purchase you research, all of this activity feeds into data profiles that are sold and used to influence what you see, what you're offered, and at what price. Turning this off removes your device from that ecosystem of behavioral data collection. Setting 2, Analytics and Improvements. This setting is where things become more specific and more surprising. Open Settings. Tap Privacy and Security. Tap Analytics and Improvements. You will see a list of toggles. Read them carefully before deciding what to do. Share iPhone Analytics sends data about how you use your iPhone to Apple. This includes usage patterns, which apps you open, how often, and in what sequence. Improve Siri and dictation means that recordings of your Siri interactions and dictation sessions may be reviewed by Apple employees or contractors to improve the system's accuracy. Your voice, captured when you speak to Siri or use dictation, may be listened to by humans. Share iCloud Analytics sends data about your iCloud usage to Apple. Improve Health and Activity sends health and fitness measurements from your iPhone and Apple Watch to Apple. Your heart rate data, your workout data, your sleep patterns. But the one that tends to produce the most reaction when people read it carefully is this one. Improve AR location accuracy. This sends location data to Apple to improve augmented reality features. The iPhone is using your location specifically for AR calibration purposes and sending that data back. And if you scroll further or look at the expanded options, you may find references to hand washing detection, a feature that uses the iPhone's motion sensors and microphone to detect hand washing. The audio processing involved in this detection is among the data that analytics sharing can include. These are not necessarily malicious uses of your data. Apple does use this information to improve their products, but the key word is your data being used for their purposes, collected by default without most users being aware of the specific scope of what is being shared. Turn off Share iPhone Analytics. Turn off Improve Siri and Dictation if you have concerns about voice recordings being reviewed. Review each toggle in this section against your personal comfort level and disable the ones that represent data collection you did not knowingly sign up for. Setting 3, Apple Advertising. Open Settings. Tap Privacy and Security. Scroll down to Apple Advertising. Tap it. You will see a toggle labeled Personalized Ads. When personalized ads is enabled, Apple tracks your usage patterns across Apple apps and services and uses that data to serve you targeted advertising within the App Store, Apple News, Apple Stocks, and potentially other Apple properties. This data can also be shared with third-party advertising partners. Turn personalized ads off. The ads you see in Apple's apps will not disappear. Apple still shows advertising in the App Store and in News. What changes is that those ads will not be targeted based on a profile of your behavior. You will see generic advertising rather than advertising that reflects what you have been doing on your device. This matters because the data used for advertising personalization does not stay neatly contained within Apple's systems. The advertising technology ecosystem involves data brokers, advertising exchanges, and sharing relationships. Between platforms that mean information about your behavior on your Apple device can contribute to your profile on third-party advertising systems, including the largest advertising platforms operated by other companies. Turning off personalized ads removes your device's usage data from this ecosystem. It is a small change with an outsized impact on how your behavioral data circulates beyond Apple's own systems. Setting 4. Location services. System. Services. Location data is among the most sensitive categories of personal information on any device. Your location, tracked over time, reveals your home, your workplace, your medical appointments, your places of worship, your social relationships, your travel patterns, and your daily routines. It is information that data brokers value enormously and that presents genuine personal safety implications if it falls into the wrong hands. The standard advice about location permissions involves managing which apps can access your location and when. That is important, but there is a layer beneath individual apps that most users never examine. Open Settings, tap Privacy and Security, tap Location Services, scroll all the way to the bottom, tap System Services. System Services is the section where iOS functions, rather than individual apps, request location access for various purposes. Some of these are genuinely useful to you. Emergency SOS uses your location to send responders to the right place. Find My iPhone needs location access to help you locate a lost device. Others are less obviously beneficial. Apple Pay. Merchant identification uses your location to identify merchants during Apple Pay transactions. This is a convenience feature that benefits the merchant identification system and Apple's transaction data, not a safety feature that benefits you. Location-based ads uses your location to serve location-relevant advertising. iPhone Analytics, when location sharing is enabled under this section, sends location data along with the usage analytics we discussed in the previous setting. Go through the system services list and evaluate each toggle against the question, does this service require my location in a way that benefits me directly, or does it collect my location for purposes that benefit someone else? Turn off the ones that do not serve you. Leave on the ones that do, specifically Emergency SOS and anything related to Find My iPhone functionality. For everything else, apply your judgment about whether the feature's benefit to you justifies the location data it collects. Setting 5. Significant locations. This is the setting that, when people discover it for the first time, tends to produce the most visceral reaction. Open Settings, tap Privacy and Security, tap Location Services, scroll to the bottom, tap System Services, scroll down until you see Significant Locations. Tap it. You will need to authenticate with Face ID, Touch ID, or your passcode. Apple requires this because the data inside is considered sensitive. The authentication itself is confirmation that what you are about to see is information your device has been protecting while simultaneously collecting without prominent disclosure. You will see a list. Under a heading called History, you will find locations that your iPhone has identified as significant. These are places you visit regularly or stay for extended periods. The iPhone learns your patterns and labels these locations based on the frequency and duration of your visits. Depending on how long you have had your iPhone and whether this setting has ever been cleared, you may see your home address, your work address, your gym, restaurants you visit frequently, friends' homes, your children's schools, your medical appointments, your places of worship. The list is a physical record of your life's geography, assembled by your phone without your explicit participation in the assembly. The stated purpose of significant locations is to improve personalized services. It helps features like Siri anticipate where you are going, helps maps suggest routes, and helps certain context-aware features function more smoothly. Whether that improvement in convenience is worth maintaining a database of your movement patterns on your device is a decision you should make knowingly, not by default. To clear the existing history, tap Clear History. This removes all of the location records that have accumulated. To prevent future collection, turn off the Significant Locations toggle. If you are concerned about where this data goes, the technical answer is that significant locations data is stored on device and encrypted, meaning Apple does not directly access it from their servers in normal circumstances. But it is synchronized through iCloud if you have iCloud backup enabled, meaning it exists in a form that is potentially accessible under certain legal circumstances. And it represents a detailed record of your movements that sits on a device that can be lost, stolen, or subject to demands you have not anticipated. Most people, upon seeing the list for the first time, clear it and turn it off. The utility of the features it enables is modest. The nature of what it collects is significant. What you have just done. 5 settings. Each one addresses a specific category of data collection that was happening on your device by default, for purposes that serve companies rather than you. You have stopped cross-app tracking from connecting your behavior across different apps and platforms. You have turned off the analytics sharing that was sending your usage data, health measurements, and in some configurations, audio processing information to Apple. You have disabled personalized advertising targeting based on your behavior. You have audited which system services can access your location and removed the ones that do not serve you. And you have cleared and disabled the significant locations database that was tracking your daily movements. Your iPhone will function exactly as it did before. You will still receive the benefits of Siri, of Maps, of every app you use. What changes is that your device is no longer a passive data collection instrument serving interests that were never explained to you clearly when you set it up. This is not about distrust of any single company. It is about the principle that your device should be working for you, not using your daily life as raw material for data systems you never agreed to join. You now know what those systems are and you have turned them off. Share this with anyone who has an iPhone, because the default settings are not protecting them either.